Good morning. Hope all is well. So, how Tony Robbins changed my life. Tony Robbins is such an inspiration to me. What he's done over the last few years or decades, even changing lives of people all over the world, is just so inspirational and so exciting. And he touches at an event, he touches the lives of thousands of people at the same time. And we're all sitting there as if he's talking to us individually. That's what's so amazing. And for me, what happened when I went and saw Tony, it took me out of a very, very tough situation and let me look at it differently. Because really that's what it's all about. When you're going through something, it's usually just a certain point of view that makes it look so bad. And usually there are other ways to look at the exact same situation that completely changes the dynamic. So let me explain what I mean. So, I was in a tough situation. A lot of I was near bankruptcy. After we started out in property, we started really, really well, built a big portfolio, and then everything kind of came crashing down, and we were very near bankruptcy. This is the point when I chose to buy a ticket to go and see Tony Robbins, which I know it's nuts. I spent money to go see Tony when I was going bankrupt. But I'm glad now that I did, because what happened was I got to the event, and what Tony does is he kind of works on you in your limiting beliefs, and it's so exciting to be a part of it and learn from it. And as a teacher, I've learned so much from Tony. How do I try to get my message across? How do I make that support? How do I help someone? But what happened was when I was sitting there was he talked about your limiting beliefs. And one of the limiting beliefs I had was, it's hard. That's just like, life, business, new things. It's hard. And I realized that's a limiting belief. And we went through a lot of these different limiting beliefs that I had. And when I came out, what happened was, I was totally there, for like 4 or 5 days. I was totally there, 100%. And you're not really cognizant of the real world. Everything kind of goes away because you're so in the moment. When I came out, I realized that I was looking at the problem in a different way now. I had a different way of looking at the situation. And so what I did was, when I looked at it now, when I came out, I said, all right, look, the situation is still what it is. So it's not about putting your head in the sand, right? This is my situation. Now, what can I do about it? And that question was a question I hadn't asked for a long time, because I'd been pitying myself. I'd been thinking, this is hard. It is so hard. Why is the world this way? All these complaining, all these blaming, all these things. And now I looked, okay, what can I do about my situation? And what I did was, when I got home, I actually went out for a run. That's when I do my best thinking. I do this whenever I get stuck. I go for a run. And I've had some lately with the whole coronavirus pandemic, we've gone from, doing events every day. Literally last year I spoke on 130 different stages. It was so much fun. It was so crazily busy. But I went from that tempo, essentially speaking 4 to 5 times a week during the season. And then, of course, I have a few months off when people don't come to events. But essentially 4 or 5 days a week I was speaking. And it was incredible, traveling all over Europe. But then, just overnight, the corona pandemic hits, and all of a sudden I can't. And I've been doing the same thing now. It's like, okay, so what do I do? And I've taken a run, and I come up with I think it's brilliant, I do my best. But for me, brilliant idea. And I have that insight that allows me to try something new. And we're doing this around our webinar. Our webinars come out, and honestly, out of the over 300 presentations I've done, that webinar is the best one I've ever done. It gives you such incredible value, and I don't go off on too many tangents. So if you want, I'll add the link to the webinar in the show notes here, in the video comments, so that you can go and watch it, because I highly recommend it. It's the 3 steps to property investing, the 3 simple steps, and the 3 biggest mistakes you have to avoid at all costs, and how to avoid them. So you want to go watch that. It was really powerful. Now, all right, so back to Tony. I went for a run and I came up with an idea. All right, so I'm millions in debt, but I now have an idea. And essentially, all I did was I went back to what I read in a Richard Branson book, in his first biography, in Losing My Virginity. He said, whenever you have a problem, grow your business 10x in size, and the problem feels a lot smaller. So what I did was, because at that point, we'd had all these bad sourcing agents. That is what caused us a lot of the pain. Not all of it, but a lot of it. But we figured a lot of those out. We had good teams in place. And so basically I said, all right, so the only way out of it is to keep going through it. And we started raising finance. We did massive amounts of finance raise. And the amount of deals we did were able to compensate for the bad ones. And we got out of it. But it was that shift from, why is it so hard? This is so unjust. It's so unfair. I feel everyone's attacking me, to going, what can I do about it? That shift changed my life, and I'll always be thankful for Tony Robbins for putting that in there and getting me to that state. So if you have a chance to see Tony, I highly recommend it. It's a game changer, a life changer. We work with Success Resources now, and I actually speak on Tony Robbins' behalf, which is so cool, helping people take that step to go and see him live, because that's what I've done. So it's an incredible journey. If you want to see Tony, let me know, and I'll help you take that step and make that journey. But in the meantime, take a look at the webinar. It's powerful. And keep remembering the question, what can I do about it, rather than blaming or complaining. You have the power. All right? See you soon. Thank you.